Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope you guys are all doing well out there. So today I'm going to be diving right into an August progress report. So let me just tell you my plan here. Excuse me. I recorded an August currently inked video, and I'm going to be going through um, and I guess somewhat grading, just really explaining my experience with that particular pen and ink combination. I may not be giving it a number this month. I need to think through it a little bit more. But I thought it would be fun, not only for myself, but others in the fountain pen and ink community to do this because it may help you as well moving forward. I have found the currently inked videos that go a little bit more into detail as far as providing these progress reports or reviews throughout the month have really helped me because I'm fairly new in the community. And if I can save time in knowing, hey, this particular ink may not be a good match for this particular pen, and I have that same pen and the same ink combo in my collection, that to me is amazing. So let's get started. This is a Leuchtturm 1917 notebook that I'm using currently. This may change in 2025, but for the rest of 2024, I'm recording my currently inked videos here. So let me zoom in a little bit so you can see, and we will talk about, I'm going to go through all of these. Some of these were not in my original video starting here. So I will talk about these as well, and I will show you these pens. Let's get started. So the first combo we're going to talk about is this Pilot Prera in brown, and I inked it with Colorverse Office Series brown. This is a fine nib. I use this in my health journal here. So sorry, I don't want to make you all dizzy. To record. Wow, where is my string? You gotta be kidding. Okay, so this is what the ink color looks like. I actually, and I'm enjoying the color. It writes smooth in this pen. It's very wet in this pen. I just don't, I mean, it's fine. I just particularly, I guess I am, I don't even know the word to explain myself at the moment, but I think I would have liked it in my cream Pilot Prayer better as far as the ink color. So that is really the only thing I have to say. I love the shading. I love the color. I don't think I would honestly purchase the ink. This is a sample that one of the samples that Elise sent me, and I'm so glad she did because I love the color. But I do have Monteverde Canyon Rust, and this color reminds me of that. So that is the only reason why I would not purchase a bottle. But it's a super juicy and wet pen. I've tried it on this Leuchtturm paper. This is a Hobonichi Weeks that I'm using, so it has the Tomoe River paper, super smooth, wet, and juicy. So yeah, that is my progress report for this particular pen. And it still has the cartridge, because I'm recycling a Pilot cartridge, has about half left. I'm not sure if I will continue to use it in September, most likely, because I'm using it particularly for my health journal and I do not want to waste the ink, but I love it so much. So that is that pen. Next, we're going to go to my TWSBI Eco in the cream rose gold. This has an extra fine nib and it has the Noodler's Maniharo Nakahama ink. That is pretty much my color, sepia color. It reminds me of the Sarasa Brown Gray pen. I love this combo. I've mentioned it before that I think after I use this up, I'm going to try the Noodlers in a fine nib, most likely this here. This is a fine nib, and we'll talk about this pen in a bit. But I love it in the extra fine, but I haven't stopped using this pen and ink combination since I received the pen and the ink, which was around February, March-ish. So I think I had it uninked for a month and then I couldn't stay away. So yeah, so I wouldn't say it's super wet. I did have to loosen the tines a bit, but it is wetter. It's not as dry in this extra fine nib. It writes smooth in this Leuchtturm Tomoe River paper. I use this in my main planner, which is a notebook therapy paper, which is a thicker paper, and it writes smooth there as well. So highly recommend this combo. Okay, so the next pen I want to talk about, I'm going to skip around a little bit, is my Sailor Mini. This is in the Aurora Gray color. It has a medium fine 14 karat gold nib. And this has Noodler's Periwinkle. I love this combo. It's pretty much gone. I'm hoping, I use this in my Bible study planner, and I am hoping, let's see, yeah, there's not much left in there. I'm hoping that this can last one more week because I've almost completed the Rest Bible study that I've been doing. I do have a video about that if you're interested. And I've been using this for the last couple of months. I love the combo. It is it seems a little bit drier this month, to be honest. I don't know why, because the first month I used it in this pen in July and it wrote well. So I'm a little bit confused and I'm like, is it something that I did? I don't think so. I will likely use this combo in the future. I love the gray and the periwinkle together. And I actually did let me show you. This is what it looks like. This is a Wonderland 222 planner. This is an example here. And just so you can see. So I love the combo of the gray and the periwinkle together. And it writes fine. It just seems a little bit drier than last month, and I'm not sure why. So that is that combo. All right, instead of skipping around, let's just go through these. So the next two pens are Lamy Safaris. It's the limited edition summer pens. This is the Pina Colada, and this is an extra fine nib. it's not really focusing. I apologize, guys. And then this is in the cherry blossom. I have a weakness for cherry blossoms and pens. And this was in a medium size nib. I uninked these quick. I did not like the way they were writing, and I was actually very surprised because I inked the cherry blossom medium with a Pilot Arushizuku ink, the Hana Ikata ink, and it's like a bubblegum pink. It does not remind me of cherry blossoms, to be honest. I don't know why. I'm going to give it another chance though. It was a very dry ink. So I want to try it in another pen with better flow. This is my first Lamy. So the other thing about these pens is they were not really comfortable. I thought they would be more comfortable for me than what they are. And I thought about just giving them away, but I'm going to give them another try. I'm going to tuck them away for the moment, and then revisit at a later time, and then go from there. The same thing with the pina colada. I had mixed a couple of inks together, Ferris Wheel Press Blue, um, Yosemite, I can never pronounce that, and Pilot Arushizuku Sugayuku. Beautiful color, but I don't know. I had to add some white lightning. The white lightning worked great here, but it did kind of feather in the cherry blossom with the Hana Akata. So I just uninked them probably 2 to 3 days after the currently inked. So that was that experience for me. Just a side note, pretty much every single Ferris wheel press ink that I have tried has been very, very dry. And I haven't had a pleasant experience with it unless I've added just the right amount of white lightning to it. For example, the blushing mushroom, that after adding some white lightning to it wrote perfectly. It's not this month, but it was another month that I used that. And I love that ink so much that I purchased a bottle, and I'll put up with the dryness and use white lightning. But I don't think moving forward, until I can find a pen that, because I'm still, like I said, experimenting, that I'll purchase any additional Ferris wheel press inks until I use what I have, of course. Being new, I should have listened to a friend and just kind of went through the samples to sample the inks and see what they what pens worked well with what inks. So I'm still learning. That's part of the fun process in the hobby. So that's that. The next pen is one of my favorites. It is the Esterbrook SD and Tortoise. Woo! This has, what size nib is this? Oh, this is a medium nib. I purchased this pen with the Techo, uh, Techo nib. However, just user error. I haven't gotten the angles down yet. So I did purchase a medium nib and replaced it. And I'm loving this pen. I had this inked with Van Diemen's Queenstown Gold Mine. It was Elise sent me a sample of that. I love, love, love this ink. And I was going to purchase a bottle. I have a little bit, tiny bit left of the sample. But after I finished this, because I literally probably wrote with this for an entire week and wrote it dry, I'm like, oh, it still has some of the shimmer in the nib unit. So I am going to put my the rest of the, or close to the rest of my ancient copper, diamine ancient copper in there and try that. And that is like, this is the Van Diamine's Queenstown gold mine. And then this, one second, I wanted to show an example. When I added the ancient copper with the Van Diamines that was still left in the pen, this is what's coming out. So yes, it's a little bit darker, but it still has the shimmer. So that got me thinking. I haven't done this yet because I literally just wrote this dry um, yesterday morning and I need to clean it out. Um, but I'm like, ooh, I have some uh, Diamine Fortunes Gold, and I did purchase a bottle of the ancient copper because I love that ink. And I think I'm going to mix some of the Fortunes Gold in with the ancient copper to use those up to make a similar blend, because I'm really trying to use what I have before I purchase any more inks moving forward. We'll see if that happens. Wish me luck. But yeah, so I wanted to share that with you guys. I was super excited because like I said, I wrote this dry the first week of August, and I wanted to continue using this pen, and I've already written it dry with the ancient copper. I felt, like I said, I filled it, the pen, I didn't clean it out with the ancient copper, and I've already used that up. So I need to clean this pen out. So that was that experience. This would be like a 10, 10, 10 out of 10. The next pen, I also just wrote dry. I think it was Wednesday. I'm recording this Saturday, August 17th, is the Benu Ambrosia Zinnia with a medium nib. And I had re-inked it with the J. Urban Cornaline Egypt ink, and it's like the perfect combo for me personally. I love that ink color. I'm not going to purchase, I want to purchase a bottle, but I will not purchase a bottle yet at this time because I do not foresee myself using this pen in the next couple of months, because I want to, I have some other plans that might change as the darker months come. I'm not sure. I'm going to see what happens. But I do not want the ink bottles just sitting around. My plan is to truly focus on what I have at this time. I kind of went down the rabbit hole, which I'm happy about. I do not regret, but I want to take accountability and use what I have. So this pen and ink combo is gorgeous. I know I have a sample of this here. Yeah, see, I ran out of 2 of the inks on the same day. So I'm just going to show you that sample here. I was writing through the Psalms. This is the last bit of the Cornaline Egypt. I don't think you can see the shimmer, but I love the shading. Seemed a little bit darker toward the end. Let me see if I can show you another sample. Oh, yeah, I think this is, no, that's not one. I don't want to keep you guys waiting. Anyway, that was close enough. All right, so the next pen and ink combo that I had going, oh, sorry, was this TWSBI, oh my gosh, I always do this. TWSBI Mini Eco. No, it's not an Eco. It's a diamond. TWSBI Diamond white rose gold mini with a medium nib. I had the diamond candlelight and I just was not feeling, it's a beautiful color, I was just not feeling it this month, and I uninked it pretty much the day after, a day or two after, um, and went with that. There was nothing wrong with it. It was truly just me. I wasn't feeling the yellow, and I love yellow, but I was having and enjoying the Van Diamond's Queenstown Gold Mine so much, um, and some of the shimmer inks at the beginning that I just was not feeling this. I love the combo because I used it last month. Um, yeah, and it's super juicy writer. It was just me. It had nothing to do with the pen, and it is an ink that I probably would purchase a bottle of, or at least another sample. So I don't have much else to say about that. The next pen and ink combo is my Opus 88 in the Cherry Blossom. This has a fine nib. I inked it up with the Noodler's Mata Hari's cordial, and I just have to tell you, I love, love, love this ink and pen combination. Noodlers and these Opus 88 pens is such a wet and pleasant ink to write with. Just going to show you a quick sample. I've been using this in the last couple of weeks in my Bible study journal, and I'm just going to show you a quick sample. So this is, I'm finishing up this week's reflection, and this is what the ink looks like now. I am running out, so I want to talk about this. I am running out of ink. It generally writes lighter than that sample you just saw, but I did have to flush the pen with the ink because it was starting to dry out. So therefore it was coming out a bit darker. But as you continue to write and open for the airflow, it does have a lighter mauve color. So I do have some sample left. I have one more week of the study left, so I am going to actually um, add some ink to this right now for any of you that were curious about how you fill these pens. All I do is I take the cap off, I unscrew the unit here carefully. I'm just gonna agitate this. I learned right away that I do not need a syringe to fill this opus. I'm just putting a little bit of the sample. I will use it up in the future, but I just want a little to get me through next week. If it runs longer, that's fine. Once you fill, or not fill, put the amount of ink that you want, you unscrew this top piston area here. And I'm not going to pull it up all the way. It doesn't need much to get it flowing. You just slightly do that a couple of times to push the ink down into the nib unit. And then I will close the piston area, and that's that. Because I know people in the past, I've watched some videos and they couldn't figure out how to get the ink flow going in the Opus 88, and it's actually super easy. It's easier than most pens, to be honest. So I love, love, love this combo so much. See, And I would say it's not super wet and it's not dry, it's just perfect. So I love this combo. I haven't really, I've had a few hard stops, but that is because the ink is starting to dry out and I just need to flush the nib a little bit. It's not the pen or the nib itself. Um, yeah. So, and I love the Opus 88 nibs so much. It's one of my favorite pens to reach for. So that would be a 10 out of 10 as well. The next pen and ink combo was the Pilot Arusha Zuko Inaho in this TWSBI Eco in the Cafe Bronze with a fine nib. I wrote this dry. I used some of the sample and then sent some to someone else to try that had been wanting to try it. This I felt it was a perfect combo. I am finding as I am moving um, further and further into the hobby and using the pens more often, which pens I can use for long writing sessions and which I in the future to keep in mind that I can that exhaust my hand. And I'm going to actually share one of those that is not listed here, but I did purchase and start using during the month. Uh, but it was a perfect pen and ink combination for me. I'm super grateful for Lisa at Journal ESQ on Instagram for sending that combo to me. And I do have an example here. I love that ink so much, and if they were still making it, I'd purchase a bottle, but I am not going to spend hundreds of dollars on, like I've seen on eBay for it. There is a dupe out there that Pens and Cats on Instagram created, and she actually just came up with another blend. So definitely check out her page on Instagram. The next combo, that was it for last that I shared on my currently inked. A pen came in that I had purchased on sale called the Camden Oktoberfest. This reminds me of candy corn. And as a kid, not so much anymore, but as a kid, I loved candy corn so much. So I'm like, you know what? It's limited. Let me try out a Camden. I love the SD. And this was on sale at Pen Boutique. I think this goes for, I got it with the Scribe nib. So it would originally have been over $200, and I think I got this for $130. I guess I should have watched some reviews. This did not come, like the SDs, this did not come with a converter. It came with an ink cartridge that ended up blowing up as I inserted it. And it cracked and I couldn't use it. The other thing is this right here, this is no fault of Pen Boutique. This is super difficult to unscrew, and I can see this cracking over time. So I'm not impressed. I did end up purchasing some Private Reserve International long cartridges to use, and I did try to use that with this Lennon Toolbar ink, which I think is a perfect match, but the pen just did not write. The ink was spilling over. So I really I don't know. After that was happening to me, I did find a couple other channels that were having the same problem. See how difficult that is to screw in? Like this is I can barely get it closed. So I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm a little bit disappointed. If anybody has any recommendations, let me know. I do not have any of that um, stuff that I can't remember the name right now that you put on that could loosen that a little bit. So um, I love the scribe nib. I love how that writes. I've been exploring stub nibs as well. I haven't shared it here because it's just something that I've been doing for myself, and I love those. So I'm like, ooh, let me try the scribe nib, and I love that. And I will use this pen. I purchased it. I'm really glad that I did not pay full price for it. Um, but yeah, it's a bummer, literally. So, and I think this pen is beautiful, especially for autumn. I live in New England in the United States, and I love the color here. Um, but yeah, so that was that experience. Grateful for the pen, grateful for the experience, but I'm a little disappointed that um, of that. So I did end up uninking that right now. The next pen and ink combo that I tried that I was super excited about was this Jinhao 82 in the milk tea. I had purchased this pen a while back. I purchased it, I think, in a fine nib, which did not work at all. It ended up that nib I had to throw away, it just did not work. But I'm like, I'm going to keep the pen. And I replaced it with a Goulet medium nib, and I put Pilot Arushizuko Ajisai in there. And it's similar to the Noodlers, just darker. It's, well, shouldn't even say it's similar, but it is a lot darker. Um, I knew I was not going to use it. I just was not feeling another periwinkle bluish type ink. So I did unink it, but I know that this pen might be a good one to try the Hana Ikata ink in the future. So I'm very excited about that. It wrote well. It was super juicy and wet, flowing. So it was a great experience, and I'm very happy that I have these. I really like the Jinhao because I love my sailors and they're so similar. So yeah. All right, the next pen that I inked up after the fact and thought was a perfect match. I wrote this dry this past week around the same time. I think it was the same day as the Benu Ambrosia, is this Benu Euphoria in the pink champagne. I inked it with the Billowing Ferris Wheel Press Billowing Blush. I purchased a bottle of it. I put the medium nib in here. I purchased this with a fine nib, but I tried it with the fine nib. It did not write as well. Again, these Ferris wheel press inks are super dry. I put the medium in and it wrote so, so, so good. It was a very pleasant experience after that change. This is an example. Let me turn this light on. You might be able to see. Yeah, there we go. So that is the Billowing blush. It's actually quite similar, maybe not as dark as the Robert Oster Cherry Blossom and Robert Oster Rose Gold Antiqua blend that I made last month. So there were a couple of hard starts, and this nib does not write well, in my opinion, on some of these cheaper papers. Like this is a kind of notebook? It's a Galaxy dot matrix notebook. Yeah, it did not write well on that paper, but it wrote well here in the Leuchtturm and on the Tomoy River paper. I absolutely adore this pen. I can tell you this, the medium Benu nib on my Cherry Blossom Talisman model has written the best. I have tried the broad nib and the fine nib, and I'm not sure what's happening, but I've tried different inks and it just doesn't seem to be flowing as well. So I'm going to keep trying because I do love this pen so much. I will say out of all three Benus that I have, that this is my favorite. This pen, I've tried multiple inks and each ink I've used has flowed very well. I'm actually contemplating getting the Brown Orchid model, not model, but color scheme, but that will have to wait. Oh, I forgot about this pen. This is my Esterbrook SD Sea Glass with the journaler stub nib, or journaler nib, which is a medium stub nib. I ended up uninking this because, again, the Ferris wheel press ink was so dry. I added too much white lightning to it and it was feathering, and I was just like, no. I was just disappointed really in myself. I think if I mixed it properly, then it would not have feathered. It's not the pen's fault. The pen is fine. The nib is fine. It was the ink. So I do not recommend the combo with the Ferris wheel press and Estes, I guess. I've tried multiple Ferris wheel press inks in these pens, and it hasn't mattered which one I've used, whether it's a medium, a fine nib, the scribe nib, they just do not flow properly. The pen itself, though, I love it so much, and I'm looking forward to using it again in the future. All right, so I want to talk about two more pens. This is a Majan A1 and the Black Rose Gold. I really wanted to purchase a Pilot. Oh my gosh, Vanishing Point. However, I was guided to buy this first, okay, because the bodies are pretty much the same. It's just the nib unit is not the same. This pen writes so smooth. It writes like a dream. I inked it with Diamine Black Onyx and it is super wet. I have had a couple dry starts because I did leave it a few days without using it, but every single paper type that I've used it on, it writes so well. However, I can tell you that this pen exhausts my hand. The way that I write is not, it doesn't seem to correlate, I guess, well with the pen body. So my plan in the future, I'm going to continue to use it and see if I can adapt. I would like to try the Majan A1 clipless version and see how that does, because I think this pen is the perfect thickness for me. I'm finding that the wider pens, not all, because it does depend on the entire body design, but I found that I want to reach for this pen and write with it, but this clip is just very distracting. and not really comfortable. So I need to kind of like the teach techo nib. I have to take the time to use these pens and be patient and see if I can adapt to number one, the teach no nib, and number two, to using this pen. If I find that I can adapt my writing style, then I am going to invest in a pilot vanishing point. So I just wanted to share that. And the Diamine Black Onyx, that's one of the samples I got in the Goulet Surprise Me sample um, order. And it's a perfect match. All right, last pen is another Jinhao 82. I got this in the pink and gold. I ink this with Kobe 54, which is Koshiyama ochre. That was not a great combo for this. Let me see if I can share that here and then give away my next my next one, but that's okay. It was super dry. I love the color together. The Kobe 54, that it's a perfect match, but it was not a perfect match ink wise. And then I did the Jinhao 82 with the Pilot Arusha Zuko Kazimosu, which is very smooth and wet. It's bright, it's happy. So I'm going to use this. I did have to loosen the tines on the nib. This has a fine nib, and I kept the Jinhao nib on here. I did have to loosen the tines a couple times, and now it's writing really well. So I just wanted to share that with you guys. See how juicy it is now. I love it. So yeah, that is my progress report for August. I hope you all enjoyed it. Leave any of your comments below. And thank you all for being here. Much love and God bless you.